Welcome, my good friend Mark, to Excel Beyond Boundaries. So this is my first fitness podcast, second episode, and I'm honored to have a good friend of mine. So this podcast is where mindset meets movement, empowering you to excel beyond boundaries. So it's all about sharing inspirational fitness journeys, key insight, just all different fitness resources, and also the mental side as well. So holistic fitness. And so I wanted to have Mark on today because he has an amazing story. Not only does he have the physical side and a very interesting fitness background, but also the mental side as well. So he's really brought it full circle, as fitness should be. It's holistic in nature. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Mark, before we get into the fitness stuff.
Cox, been a lifelong athlete. I'm now program director for No Longer Followers. It is a nonprofit organization that helps mentor young men, and they pair them with mentors. These kids, they don't have fathers in their lives, and we see a society now like the importance of having a positive male role model in our lives now. So we're just teaching them how to be men and how to equip them, empower them to be better men. And we have workshops every month. We take them on outings, and we're just trying to bring up this next generation to be successful men. Yeah. And also, I have my
That's
Hydro
beautiful.
swing shirt,
And
so I'm
we,
also a part-time coach with Hydro Athletic Club, which is like you guys have the Sarasota Sharks. It's very similar. So
nice, nice. Now we definitely need mentors for young men today. They're so lost, and there's not a lot of resources, a lot of conflicting information, and then society, as you know, with the toxic masculinity and all that. So thank you for what you do, for sure. So what does fitness mean to you?
and
Let's
that's
start
an
with that.
excellent question. Fitness has been a part of my life, I would say, since I could walk. What fitness means to me is an outlet to stress, because stress is the number one killer in society, right? It is something that I'm able to express myself freely, and just a way to navigate the world for me. That is what fitness is to me.
I like that. So then, with that being said, do you have a certain training goal that you like your underlying fundamental reason for
My
training, like your
why
why?
is to try to be as close to Batman as possible. Honestly, like
I love
a
it. I
little bit of
love it.
everything. Like that's kind of like my deal. You know, I, I
Good.
I used to get hung up on being good at one thing, and then now I'm just like, well, how good can I be in a lot of things? So that's kind of my deal now.
So would you say basically hybrid athlete focusing on
Yes.
performance?
Yeah, I don't try to shoot for aesthetics. Like I just obviously I want to look good without my shirt on, but I think in the world that we live in today, and just in general as an athlete, I want to be able to say like, hey, I can dominate anything that I go into. So
True. And a lot of people don't realize that you can have the strength
yeah,
and the endurance. You could lift heavy
absolutely.
and you can run. Back in the day, we used to think it
Yes.
was one or the other. So that's
Yeah.
cool. You're an example of that. So if you just bring us back a little, so when did you start working out? How did you get
So
into fitness?
so my a lot of people don't know this story. It's pretty dark in nature. I was a really angry kid growing up, and it ties in well with like what I do for work now. Um, a lot of people don't know this, but when I was 3 years old, my biological father locked me in a closet for I don't know 12 hours while he beat my mom, and that
Oh
feeling of
no.
being helpless, like I didn't know, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if she was alive. I didn't know what was happening. I My grandfather found me the next day, and from that night moving forward, I didn't talk for like almost a year. And I was just so angry, and I didn't know who to trust, and I didn't trust males, and it took me a long time to bottle up, and I was just angry all the time. And luckily, my mom she's just an amazing woman, and she just knew that I needed some kind of outlet to express myself. And she put me in sports, and I just excelled at anything I wanted to do. And then moving forward, like I met my stepfather when I was 6, and he helped me find what kind of avenues that I was interested in. My stepfather, I call him my dad because he's the person who raised me. He was a strength coach and a football coach, and probably the most knowledgeable person that I know till this day about anything fitness.
Wow.
And he honestly showed me how to do everything. I mean, I watched his practices. I watched his athletes. I was in the weight room with him at like 6, 7 years old, watching people bench press like 400, 500 pounds. Like, and some people don't get that experience, So I kind of excelled from there. And then, I played everything under the sun. And the only sport that really was my calling really was swimming. My mom was a swimmer. My parents ran a learn to swim program from the time I was born to, my mom still teaches swim lessons now in Sarasota. So, and that was my outlet. I mean, I poured everything into swimming. All my emotions, anything I was going through, I channeled into swimming. And it gave me a lot of life lessons, a lot of just freedom of expression. And I was able to excel tremendously in that sport.
Wow, that's a powerful story.
Yeah.
Seriously, and your mom sounds like an amazing woman.
She's definitely God-given for sure.
Good. No, that sounds like you're very close, and it's interesting how everyone begins their fitness journey from a different place. So yours came from a place. Correct me if I'm wrong. It came from a place of wanting to feel more and more capable and defend the ones you love. And basically
as a kid,
maximize.
I had something to prove. And unfortunately, like when you're brought up in that kind of like darkness, like you develop this like chip on your shoulder, and you have to prove yourself. And that's how I was. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like I was an asshole. I'm sorry if I can't curse on the podcast, but I was a jerk when I swam. I was very selfish. If you weren't helping me, I didn't really care about you. I used to race people all the time. I used to beat older kids, and I would rub it in their faces like, you're losing to a 10-year-old. Like, and like that's how I was. So
I see, but at least it sounds like you learned how to harness that mental power, and you channel that energy into performance. Which, even though it wasn't from the best influence, you learned to combine the mental and the physical at an early age. That's you have a very interesting story. And then you got into swimming, and how far did you take swimming?
I swam all through high school, won state championship in 2006, and then I was a podium finisher from 2007 2008. I swam club season all through high school, and I led my club team to 3 national championships. Qualified for the 2008 Olympic trials, qualified for 2009 World Trials, and then I got a scholarship to swim at Florida State University from 2009 to 2012. I qualified again for Olympic trials in 2012, and unfortunately I tore my labrum my senior year of college. So, but yeah, I've talked about this in another podcast, I think with Mark, but during that time I was still just very chip on my shoulder. I have something to prove. And, for, I would say 10 plus years of swimming, that was my fuel to excel and be better. So.
Well, it sounds like you definitely can say that you are qualified when it comes to swimming. You have some amazing credentials behind you. So that's
I
cool.
Like it when the
and
kids
I can relate to you.
At practice are like, well, what do you know about practice? Well, been there, done that, so.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you definitely have a lot of credentials behind you, a lot of experience. And I can relate to you when it comes to the chip on the shoulder. And everyone has their own reasons, but I would channel anything that bothered me and into lifting. And that was the one area where I felt like I had progress in my life as a young adult. And so channel all of that passion, all that energy. And I know you relate to that completely. So That's it's amazing
Oh,
what you
for
can
sure.
accomplish.
And
Would you say that it's an outlet? I know you said it's a good it was stress relief, but would you say that that changed your life because of having that outlet instead of reacting more so in
yeah,
negative
oh,
ways?
for sure.
You were
Like
able to channel it.
if I didn't have sports in general, I mean, because I feel like I could have done this with any sport, right? But just swimming was just something that I was good at already. My mom was a swimmer herself, so it just kind of fit that I was going to be a swimmer, right? But if it was anything, like if it was football, if it was soccer, if it was basketball, if it was track, if it was weightlifting, I think I would have excelled regardless. Um, just because I had that drive to do things. I mean, not the type of athlete that I wasn't just because I was angry. Like I would do things to make myself better. For example, like I just had this innate drive to be the best that I could be. Like this chip on my shoulder. Like I played football previous to swimming, and the first year I made the B team, which I only got to play behind the first string. Right, so I got to play second string. And I wasn't satisfied with that. I was like, I made a couple of plays, and I was studying, learning like the plays, and I just wanted to like, well, I want to contribute more. Right, I don't want to be stuck second string. So the following summer, I developed like a weightlifting routine, and I would run every day. And like I ran in the rain, I ran in the heat. I didn't care. Like I'd run 2 miles. I'd run the perimeter of the campus, which was like I think once around was like a mile, so I'd run that twice, and then I'd run home, which was like I lived the block away from the junior high school, and I would sprint from the start of the street down to my house, which was like 400 meters, and I would do that every day. And then I would lift weights. I would do push-ups. I would do dips. I would do squats. I would do lunges, and I did that every day. And then, I'd work on catching and passing drills and stuff like that. And, I would study the playbook, and fall came around, and I'd find myself on the first string. And that's just an example. And then, after that, I swam varsity as an eighth grader. And the reason I did because I wasn't satisfied swimming for the junior high school. I was like, I'm faster than everyone here. Like, let me challenge myself and race the older kids, right? And I would wake myself up at 5 a.m. and ride my bike 2 towns over to the next town to go practice because they were the only. That was the only place where you could swim long course at the time. And I would ride my bike back and be back home before everyone woke up. My parents were like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "At practice." They're like, "Down the road?" I'm like, "No, 2 towns over in Byron Lake." They're like, "You didn't tell us?" And I'm like, "Because you guys would have said no, so I just did it on myself." And like that's just the type of person I was. And like high school came around. They offered like winter training, like because we're out of school, and they're like, "Yeah, we're offering doubles, and like we have like 3 practices." And for me, like I was like, well, if I want to get better, I'll just do three practices a day. And I did 3 practices a day for like 10 days straight. And my coaches were like, don't come to practice. Like you're gonna kill yourself. And like that for me, I was just like, I just want to get better. So it's something
Yeah,
that normal people don't have. Like it's just not innate in everyone.
I was gonna say you seem like from not only knowing you and seeing you do like 75 hard, and then hearing these stories, you seem like such a disciplined uh, person. But it seems like you got that discipline or you started that discipline at
Yeah,
such a young age, when most people don't have that level of discipline because it's
yeah,
typically developed. Like I was not as disciplined as I am now in
yeah,
my teens or early 20s even. And so to have that mentality and to stick with something and just be
yeah,
relentless like that, that really is
yeah.
impressive.
It's
Would you say that's the most important factor with your
yeah.
success?
It's honestly trusting the process because at some point something's going to give. Um, and then just like a quick story, like moving from New York to Florida was a huge hurdle for me because my freshman year of high school, I just went from being a state runner-up as an eighth grader in New York, right? I come to Florida and I'm literally the bottom of the barrel. Like I have girls beating me that the girls half my size that are kicking my butt in practice every day. And my freshman year, I was like, I don't think swimming's for me. And I had coaches like, honestly, like, you have so much talent that is so raw, just stick with it. And, you know, that's all I needed to hear. And then from there on, like, I just, you know, did what I normally do. I just trusted the process, stuck with it. Every day I got like 1% better. And, you know, by the time I was a sophomore, I was winning a state championship. So it's just, you know,
Man.
like that huge, like these hurdles that like come in my life, I just try to just chip away at them, and then eventually they're going to fall apart and you're just going to blast through it.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great mentality, and I feel like fitness is so
Yes.
symbolic of life. It teaches you the skills, and it transfers to life. And so it sounds like you apply this in your
Oh, for
everyday
sure.
life as well. You know, setting a goal, the discipline to stick with it until you accomplish that goal, and then
Yeah.
you have the next goal.
And it's like,
Oh,
it's funny because like it's almost like you're never satisfied, but you know, like when you're a highly motivated person and you're like a high achiever, like that's kind of the goal. Like you don't want to be satisfied, like you don't want to be complacent, right? Because complacency kills you.
true.
And like at least that's like what they've kind of preached into us from coaching, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That really does make sense. And I just noticed that you're a little bit with the camera. Are you able to move to
Oh,
your
yeah.
left a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
I realize that sometimes we get a little close to the.
yeah, but,
Yeah, much better, much better. If you could give one piece of advice to someone just starting on their fitness journey, what would it be?
definitely trust the process. I mean, it's gonna suck. You're gonna want to quit multiple times. Just remember, you're doing something bigger than yourself. If you have that kind of mentality that
I like
you're
that.
part of something bigger than yourself, and trusting that one day all your hard work is going to pay off, that's the end goal. That's what you want. You know, that's the short
I
term
like that. No, that's
satisfaction is not
powerful.
what you want. It's the end result.
Would you say that kind of rolls right into the next question? Would you say looking at the big picture and remembering the goals, or what helps you stay mentally strong to push through setbacks or plateaus?
I've been here before. It's like experience, you know, like the times that like you know, my latest endeavors were jiu-jitsu, right? Jiu-jitsu is incredibly humbling. You've done it. You've seen Mark train. You've seen me train. Not being good at jiu-jitsu sucks, but it's a process. So like the more you do it, the more you train, like the more you understand, like the better you become, and everything gets easier after that. Well, it doesn't get easier. Like you just get better, honestly. But it's just trusting the process. Like, yeah, you're gonna have to take your lumps. Like I'm gonna have to. Like when I was racing, I'm gonna have to get beat, and I'm just gonna start chipping away at my competition slowly but surely. And that's, you know, sooner or later you're submitting, you know, blue belts and purple belts and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and it kind of I know exactly what you mean with how humbling it is, and it's interesting that actually just reflects what you just said about trusting the process and
Yeah.
just putting the work in and just letting it unfold.
Absolutely.
Would you say you have a specific mantra that you live by or philosophy? I know that this is going to be some of what you just said, but is there like a specific
Yeah.
phrase or
So my
Yeah.
late high school coach, he was my club coach for almost 4 years. Coach Schoaf used to say every day, other than it's a beautiful day in Sarasota, he used to say, if you always did what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. And that has stuck with me forever. So if you're always doing what you've always done, don't get mad if you're always going to get what you always got. You have to adapt. You have to change your paradigm to reach your goals.
simple but powerful?
He said it every day for 4 years. It didn't really click till probably like my senior year, but it made so much sense after that. And it's been I've kind of adopted it as my saying now, in terms of like just getting better and excelling.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you.
glad you shared that. What would you say is, it's to kind of jump around, what's the most important thing in your experience that someone can do to start living a healthier, more authentic life? So to make an easier transition into a healthier lifestyle, but not just physically, also mentally as well.
On it, like, trust the process is one. Like, and then it's not just, you have to have like the right mind, like be open to criticism and coaching. And, honestly, if you're a high achiever, sometimes that's hard. But you always have to remember that someone's always going to be stronger than you. Someone's always going to be faster than you. Someone's already done this before. And, you can benefit from their experience. I'm stubborn by nature, and I've taken my lumps to learn that, I don't have all the answers. And, I've had coaches who've kicked me out of practice because I thought I had all the answers, So it's always continue learning, always just accept, information, even if you don't think you need it, because all information is going to be useful, whether it's bad or good.
I agree completely. That's so many people think they know everything when we really ultimately know nothing, and you can learn from anyone. That's good advice. I've got some fun questions for you. Do you have any pre-workout rituals or lucky charms?
Pre-workout rituals or lucky charms.
Like before a 400-pound squat, do you do anything specific?
I use a lot of self-talk, and it's something that I've done, like when I raced and before jiu-jitsu or like strongman, and I've kind of used this like throughout my life. Like even when I played football, like I just I would I'd pep myself up, give myself like a small pep talk. It's usually kind of negative, honestly. Like don't be a expletive like like you got this, and like just I don't know. Like I have like this compilation of all the coaches that I've ever had coach me. Like it's their voice. So most of it is like my dad, Coach Schoaf, Coach Brown, which are my two of my swim coaches. Like they're always like ringing in my head, like you got this. Like stop being a sucker, stop being a wuss. Like get back on the bar. Like just kind of push yourself. 1 more, 2 more, 3 more. Like it's just constant self-talk. And like sometimes in my videos you'll hear me talking to myself like oh, come on, 1 more, and it kind of just, I don't know, it just makes me feel good and makes me feel like I can do it. So that's what really drives me sometimes.
That's cool. When you were saying that, I was picturing everybody just yelling at you while you're lifting.
That's what it feels like.
It's I get that. It's funny how some people are more motivated by the positive, but I completely relate. The negative for me is much more motivating. And I don't know if it's a guy thing in general or if it's just specific people.
Well,
but
I think it goes back to like having that kind of chip on your shoulder. Like, another story that I have, and my best friend Tyler could attest to this. We had this English teacher, Miss Parrott, and I will never forget this moment. She told me, because I was excited, like the newspaper came out with the state rankings, and I was seated 4th. Going into states the following weekend, and I was like, I have a shot to win this. And she told me that I would never win a state championship, like in front of a whole class. And I was like,
Dang.
Oh, really? And like my buddy Tyler was getting like all fired up. I'm like, no, I got this. Like, we'll just see in a week. And because it came off kind of like, and I hate using this term, but it came off kind of like racist, because like you don't really see a lot of black swimmers. So she's like, why would you ever win states, right?
Oh, yeah. That's what she meant?
Yeah, she said I wouldn't get it. She said I wouldn't win a state championship and I wouldn't get a scholarship, because I was talking about swimming at Texas or swimming at Florida or something like that. And I was like, okay. So the following week came and I won a state championship. And Monday came around and Tyler's like, did you bring your medal to school? I was like, of course I did. And I wore my medal into class. I slammed it on her desk. And I was like, there's my state championship. So
that's amazing.
So she apologized to me in front of the class. And then I started getting recruiting letters from my guidance counselor. and the guidance counselor would come in and drop off like recruiting letters to me, and I couldn't sign anything because I was a sophomore at the time. But I was like, I won't get a scholarship. Huh? Oh, they're offering full ride. And I would just like kind of like toss them aside, like, because I can't sign anything at this point. But I just kind of relished making her feel stupid for that remark. So
Yeah. For sure. You're rubbing it in.
So, I mean, it's, you know, it goes again. Like I was kind of a direct in high school, but that part felt good.
Yeah, you put the work in and you proved her wrong. That's good. What is the, if you look at my little notes, I forgot my next question. What is the strangest or most unusual workout you've ever done?
Strangest or most unusual.
Have you ever tried like someone's a friend's workout, or you know, something that you saw on TV or TikTok, Instagram?
Not really. I mean, like I've done like yoga classes like in college because I just needed to work on like mobility. Oh, we had to do this was weird. We had to do a like a seniors class, like a golden sneakers or silver sneakers class. And it was like mobility, and I couldn't do it. Like I realized like I had like very poor hip mobility, and like they were just like moving their hips in like these different positions, and like I physically couldn't do it. And I was like, I feel embarrassed. And like they're all like, you know, making like, you know, poking fun, and they're like, oh, this young kid couldn't do it, and it was part of like kind of like a volunteer hours for when I was in college, and the coach like selected like. We had to go in groups, so I was in the sprint group, and you have all these like muscular like swimmers, and they were like, yeah, like some of us could do it, and the other ones like were struggling. Like me and my roommate were having a hard time doing these exercises, and you know these seniors were just having fun because you know we were in there. So
man, the mobility stuff is challenging. I've been humbled so many times when it comes to yoga or man, hip mobility is no joke. Especially when you sit a lot. If you could do one exercise, just one for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Some type of squat. Yeah.
I bet I could guess. Yeah. I was gonna say I knew it.
Yeah, front squat, back squat. Those are two of my favorite. I think they have tremendous carryover, not only in strength but into sports. Honestly, I think like explosive sports like football, baseball, basketball, sprinting, they should do front squats over back squats for quad development and posterior chain strength. I think thrusters are kind of a like secret weapon. A lot of programs don't use them, and I started using them in CrossFit, but I think they have tremendous carryover. I mean, that energy transfer from a squat position to overhead, that's huge. I mean, that's huge for sprinters to get off the blocks. That's huge for tackles, like that's huge for jumping. And then, there's so much research and seeing the correlation between leg strength and vertical jump and broad jump and like producing energy. And like, if you're not doing any type of squat variation, you're going to have to ask yourself, why not? Because you're just limiting yourself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Man, I was gonna say, I'm still gonna try to get you into strongman one of these days because I remember watching you overhead press, like 225, like nothing, and I know you can do 275. What's the most you've done with a thruster?
With a thruster, I think it's between I think it's 265. I've done 265.
Okay.
And I think I've push pressed 285. And then my split jerk's like 345, somewhere around there. So
damn. See, you should get into strongman in your weight class.
Two events, strongman. I did 2 strongman events. I did one with you, the world's strongest manatee.
Yes, I remember. I forgot about that one. I remember. And I was supposed to do the partner one with you, but then I got my appendix taken out.
Yeah.
Man, that would be fun. We got to do another one. Where is this? Oh yeah, go-to song
Oh man.
playlist.
So
What's your
this
go-to
has
song?
changed a lot, and I've gotten yelled at the gym a few times because lately
Oh no,
I have just been on a Morgan Wallen kick. Wallen. Yeah, it's been
really?
just weird.
Country.
It's kind of just like relaxing. I just kind of just do my thing, and like other songs are just not vibing. Like I'm not as angry, so I don't know. Like maybe it's something I've been in the kind of soft in my old age now. But
Uh,
yeah, I've been digging Morgan Wallen during workouts lately, especially like solo. And then, but my go-to song, I would say, if I had to PR today, my go-to song would be "Going Rogue" by Dropout Kings.
Going Rogue by Dropout Kings. I kind of
Yeah.
want to look that up right now, but I don't know if that would affect the how the
It goes
podcast
pretty hard.
works.
So yeah,
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up afterwards.
Yeah.
Going Rogue.
yeah.
That sounds intense. Man, so let's talk about diets. So do you follow any specific
No.
type of diet?
I'll tell you, when I was in high school, I ate everything that wasn't nailed down because I was burning so many calories. I mean, like for example, like the Michael Phelps diet, right? Like you heard how many calories? I mean, 10,000 calories he was eating like every day. That was a real thing for me.
Crazy.
You know, when I was
Man.
swimming close to 6 miles a day, like I ate everything and I could get away with it and have like 3% body fat. Now as I got older, obviously like things changed, but I've always been like a very conscientious eater. I try to avoid processed foods. Like I don't like cake, I don't like cookies, I don't like candy. You know, I'm very plain. I mean, I like apple pie and ice cream. Those are my two go-to desserts. But as far as everything else, like you know, fruits, vegetables, high quality protein, eggs, rice, potatoes, and that's it.
So you eat pretty healthy
like
in general.
I never really followed
Okay.
a diet. I think the closest thing that I followed was I was fasting. That was during when I was training for the jiu-jitsu tournament 2 years ago, and I had to drop weight classes. I was 202, and I had to drop down to 188. And that was like one of the hardest things I was doing because I was restricting calories at that point while trying to maintain performance. And you know, I was still strong. Like I was
rough.
like at 188, I could still squat for like 425 still. So I was still pretty strong. But I could feel like, yeah, this is taking a lot out of me. So like the exertion part was not up to par. Like my endurance was through the roof. Like I could do 10 rounds of jiu-jitsu no problem at the time, but it was like I could feel like the amount of force I was putting out was draining me. Yeah.
That's tough, man. Restricting calories and trying to
Yeah.
have peak performance. So then, when you do 75 hard, you basically just cut out the ice cream and the apple pie,
Yeah,
and then you're good
pretty
to
much.
go.
Like that's really it. You know, waters. I always drink water. I don't really drink juice. You know, protein shakes. My coffee is black. Like I eat like a dog, honestly. Like I eat the same thing all the time. I don't
Pretty simple.
see any need to eat anything else.
So you're not a foodie.
I'm a
then,
foodie. Like I'll try anything, but
Oh, you
like,
are?
I'm very simple if I'm cooking for myself. And like sometimes I get cravings. Like you know, my mom's Puerto Rican, so I have to have my Spanish food. I have to have empanadas. I have to have arroz con pollo. Like I have to have all my Spanish food. So then you can attest to that with Emma. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
I was going to say
Yeah.
those empanadas you made. Emma mentioned them recently. She was like, we were talking about something, and so for whoever's listening, this man makes the best empanadas I've ever
Thank
had
you.
in my life, and
Oh, yeah.
the coquito. Yeah, so get your coquito from him.
My recipe might make you messed up, so I'm very merry for Christmas. So
Oh, very merry. It's like a triple in one drink. Man, so then no cheat meals. I'm assuming Just the ice
Yeah,
cream and apple
that's
pie?
like honestly, I one time in high school I ate. No, I was Thanksgiving break in college. I ate a whole apple pie, like a whole like BJ's apple pie.
Like regular
No,
size
it's like
pie?
the super size, like the from like Costco.
Oh,
Yeah, I ate the whole thing.
man.
Yeah,
I
no,
thought I
no,
was bad with like like
no,
the
no.
mini
I had
ones.
like the whole giant one. Yeah,
Dang, that's probably like
yeah.
5,000 calories. All right, so not sometimes, but you
No,
have
yeah, for sure.
splurged in the past. All right. Favorite local gym? Actually, how about favorite local gym in Sarasota for
Okay.
whoever's listening in Sarasota? And then Port
Yes.
Orange, is that correct?
So, well, I would say Grind Fit if it was still there, because the old OG Grind Fitters out
Man.
there listening. But Vault is an awesome gym. Shout out to Josh Wilson. Vault is an excellent gym. Um, and then outside of that, I used to train at EOS a lot. Those would be my two
Mm.
Sarasota gyms. EOS is awesome. I liked how nobody bothered me in the back area where the squat racks were. I can lift as much as I want, slam the weights, do all the fun stuff. And then like Josh, Josh is a good friend, and he's done awesome with his gym. So I always support local gyms like that. And then
I've got to check that
yeah,
out.
the
Never
Vault
been to the
is
Vault.
awesome. And
The
then
Vault.
the Port Orange, Modern Human CrossFit. I have the 24/7 access code, so I can go on whatever I want, which is awesome. And it's my playground. They let me turn on the music as loud as I want, as long as I close up and clean up after myself. It's all good. So
Nice. No, those sound like that sounds like a cool gym too.
yeah,
24/7
so
access,
kind
like an anytime fitness,
yeah,
but with actual
of like
lot of
Brian Fit, how
equipment.
Brian Fit used to be.
Man, I miss that gym.
Yeah.
That gym was amazing. Moving into some funny questions. Have you ever had an embarrassing gym moment?
Embarrassing gym moment. I've definitely ripped my shorts a couple of times lifting weights. Yeah, especially when I was doing the 20 rep back squat program. It's because
Ooh,
my legs grew so much during that time. Like my shorts ripped, and I had embarrassing like my shorts ripped or my work pants ripped afterwards. So putting on pants.
man. So not
Oh
at the
yeah,
bottom of the squat. It was
the
afterwards.
bottom of the squat and like
Oh,
afterwards, like putting on my work pants and my work pants are ripped. So that's quite embarrassing, especially because I was
man.
working with in the DJJ with the kids who were in juvenile. So like they would like, "Oh, Mr. Mark, you ripped your pants again." So like they would make fun of me. So um, yeah,
That's funny. That definitely doesn't happen to me.
yeah, you got to get you on a leg program.
No, they just don't. I think
Yeah.
because I run so much, they just don't really grow that much. That's funny. I remember that one time we were on your podcast, and Mark was making fun of his
Yeah.
daughter was calling me chicken legs.
Well, she calls me Black Dolphin. So
That's fun.
or no, not Black Dolphin. She calls me Chocolate Mark.
Okay. Oh, that's where we got Chocolate
Yeah,
Mark
Chocolate
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. You definitely have
Yeah,
to
for
come
sure.
visit soon. Just a couple more questions, and that's it. Do you have a okay, here it is. Favorite recovery or self-care morning routine? Either one. Or both.
So self care or recovery?
Yeah, like how do you recover? Because you go so hard in like every aspect of your life. I know you actually have really good balance. And so how do you balance that out? How do you recover?
So for me, my recovery involves walking and prayer. Last few years, I've really gotten heavily into the Bible and into my relationship with God, and that's kind of been something that eases not only my mind but my spirit as well, and it answers a lot of questions that I can't answer for myself. But walking, I picked up from 75 hard. It just kind of, just like when I swim, like I have to flush the lactic acid out of my body. Like that kind of helps just loosen up everything and work out all the kinks and stretch. When I was doing strongman, I was doing a Steve Coyne's program, and I need to get back onto it. His mobility program is awesome, and like his animal flows was, I've never felt as strong ever, and I need to get back to doing it because it was like next level.
Man, yeah, he's good. He is insane how strong he is. I'm actually gonna have him on probably next.
Yeah. Definitely ask him about his animal flows and organ meats. So I got those two things from him, and it's been like a life changer for me.
Wow. Okay. I love how walking is so grounding, and then prayer is, I mean, so powerful, and it doesn't
so
have grounding,
to be like
so
prayer.
everything.
I mean, some people get like weird with religion. Like meditation is another word for prayer. It's just being in touch with yourself. Like for me, like I feel like I'm talking to God at this point, and you know, my relationship with him has helped me tremendously.
That's beautiful. That's very beautiful. So then, last question is, if you could provide just some final insight to someone who is either getting started along their fitness journey or getting back into the fitness journey. I know you said earlier that just trust the process. If you have anything you want to add into that, and then also, what is your next goal that you're training for?
Well, so to answer the first one, obviously trust the process, but have fun with it too. Like, you know, being all business and just trying to hammer out every goal can be draining and frustrating too. Because I mean, there's so many times where I've hit plateaus and I'm like, I'm not getting any better. Like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like, just have fun, and then ultimately you'll hit a goal without even realizing it. And you're like, oh, well, now I can go back to the grindstone because now I exerted my fun period. Now I have to, get back to work, right? And that's probably my biggest two: trust the process and have fun with it. And then my next goal, honestly, is just, I know I said like I want to be like a low budget Batman and just gotta be good at everything, but
low budget
honestly, like I just want to be like, I'm starting a family. Like I have a fiance now, and I'm a bonus dad, and I just want to be honestly the strongest dad that my family can have. Yeah.
I love it. That's good. That's very good. It's very functional. It applies to your life. And just two last questions that I'm throwing in, just because this is so valuable. First, I meant to ask you earlier. It's about your training. So, how would you explain your training? Do you do like a push-pull split, push-pull legs, full body?
Because I train mostly Olympic lifting, and that's kind of been my core of strength, basically. There's a lot. It's heavy on the legs, so I'm doing a squat variation almost every day. But there is I would say it's full body explosive movements. There's a strength portion. There's my Olympic lifts, which are explosive, and then there's the accessories, which are general preparedness, like pull-ups, dips, push-ups, bench press, tricep extensions, like things like that. So, I mean, it encompasses performance with, athletics and aesthetics. And then obviously, like, people, where do you get your cardio from? Well, it's like, well, I'll jump in and do like a CrossFit workout, or like I'm still looking for a jiu-jitsu place here. I'm just trying to have time. Now that I work from home, I have, more time, so I can do that. And then I've gotten back into swimming because I've coached now. So I coach like the younger kids. So I almost have to like demonstrate something. So I get in and swim with them. And they're blown away by how fast I am. I'm like, I'm not that fast anymore, guys. But for them, like it's awesome. So it's a treat. So just getting in there with them. So it's just everything. It's full body, everything.
And you're
Yeah.
leading by example too with them. So would you say more so
Yes.
intuitive training? Because I know I'll do a lot where I'm not following a strict program. It's more so it's time to do a push day, or it's time to do a pull, or it's time to do because
Yeah.
you have so much experience. It's easy to pull from what
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
that you
I mean,
need.
I've come up with my own programs. I want to put out my 20 rep back squat program because I've gotten awesome results from it. I mean, my back squat jumped up 40 pounds just by doing this for 8 weeks, and yeah, like it
Oh yeah.
sucks. Like it's hard. Like I remember I dragged Mark into it one time. He did it with me at like 5 o'clock in the morning every day. And we did it wrong the first time because we added 5 pounds every session. It was supposed to be 5 pounds every week. but
Oh
we got super.
no,
But we got super strong. I mean, Mark was
man.
squatting I think he did like 380. Yeah. So
Whoa,
and like with like no sleeves, like flat shoes, like Mark was getting like super strong, and then I finally squatted like over 400 that time. So like it was awesome.
man, that's yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's powerful. I've read about it. I've never done it myself,
Yeah.
but I've heard great things. Last question: if you could create your own signature workout, I have a feeling I know what you're going to answer. What would it be called?
Oh man.
The
For sure.
Batman workout.
I've actually tried to do like the Batman workout from the comic books, and I get myself rhabdo. It's like I don't recommend it for anybody,
Oh,
just because the volume is just it's not meant for people to actually do. Like it's definitely impossible. But
too
yeah,
much
oh
volume.
yeah, like I mean, no one should be doing 9 sets of clean and jerk for 5 reps, and then
Oh,
doing like 5 sets of 50 push-ups and just astronomical like stuff, like just
man.
crazy stuff. Um,
It's literally
yeah, yeah.
superhero
Like
stuff.
you definitely have to be on gear to even attempt it. But yeah, I would say yeah, Batman protocol. That'd be my if I had to create a workout or a workout program, I'd be called Batman protocol.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
that's pretty catchy. That could be like a workout
oh for
program
sure.
that you create. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for you provided a lot of value, and I know that a lot of people are gonna not only find this entertaining, but
Oh,
get a lot of value
thank you
from
for
that
having me on here, man.
and
Appreciate it.
inspiration. Thank you. I'll stop this.